Hi everyone, it's Wendy from Log Cabin Vintage, and I just wanted to pop on for another edition of What's New Wednesday. I have been busy adding a lot of books. My class that I was taking is over and I finished up all the work, so now I am back to focusing on listing books. I do have some other things going on in the back end, but book listing is definitely going to be a priority from now until the end of the year. So I worked on a lot of books this week, so let's just get right into it. Some of these you're going to recognize if you watch the haul video, because I'm starting to list the books that I purchased from the woman, that woman's children's book collection that I talked about in the haul video. And if you missed the haul video, you can catch it either on my Facebook page or you can catch it on the my YouTube channel, which is Log Cabin Vintage Books. So you can watch it in two different places. So this is the little Christmas nutshell library. It's illustrated by Hilary Knight, and it has 4 cute little titles. The books are adorable. They have these little design on the front. So those have been added to the list or to the website. Another pair of books from the book haul, sorry, could not think of what I was trying to say here, are the Sally Goes Traveling Alone and Sally Goes Shopping Alone. These are the sweetest. I know I shared them before, but just look at these little illustrations. I absolutely love these. They are so sweet. Look at these. So those were added from the book haul. Another set of books that I added from the book haul, I'm pulling them out now, are if I can find them, oh, they're right here, are the Wizard of Oz books. So let me pull those out. I have Ozma of Oz was added, the Emerald City of Oz, and the Royal Book of Oz. And like I said, these were all part of the books that I purchased from that book haul from the woman who was 85 and downsizing her collection. Next up, I have Uncle Arthur's Bedtime Stories. This is a restock. I sold out this volume and found another one. These are great bedtime stories with a Christian values and morals in them. Uncle Arthur produced a series of books. I'm not sure, back in the 1940s, I believe, maybe a little bit earlier than that. But this is one of his books. They can be read alone. They are, I think there's like 5 or 6 books in this set that was published in this size, but they can be all read alone. They're just great books. A restock is this Little House on the Prairie. This is from the 1980s. The cover on this one is just this cover, which I love. And, you know, I'm always going to carry Little House because I love them. Next up, we have the People's History of the United States. This is not a textbook. This is actually just a history book. And it is really good. There is a little tiny bit of damage. Someone did cut one picture out of the book. It was edited by John Clark Ridpath, or written by John Clark Ridpath. This was published in 1895. I do have another set of his books on the history of the United States. 2 of the 3 volumes, and they're leather-bound edition. So if you like to collect history books or know somebody who collects history books, these are really, really beautiful books. They're very well done, nice and heavy, lots of information in there. If you are on my email list, you saw that I sent an email out this week for the Dog Days of Summer. So I listed a bunch of dog books this week. So this is a little picture book called Nothing But Dogs. It was written by Earl Marvin Rush, but it was illustrated by Diana Thorne. And if you're familiar with Diana Thorne, she was a illustrator, very popular in the United States. She was not born in the United States, but she lived in the United States for years. She lived in Canada, and she illustrated a whole bunch of Albert Payson Theron books as well. So you'll see one of those books in this stack of what I'm sharing today, but her illustrations are gorgeous. So this is just a cute little picture book that she did. The Call of the Wild. This is a 1980s edition, and I love the tall pines on this. I did a little post on this one yesterday, so you can read why I love pines so much. I think it was in one of the comments I wrote about it. So Wagging Tails, an album of horses. This is by Marguerite Henry. And I'm sorry, yes, Marguerite Henry, and it was illustrated by Wesley Dennis. And I absolutely love Wesley Dennis's illustrations. He draws horses very well, also draws dogs very well. So that was added to the shop. Real Tales of Real Dogs. Here's your Albert Payson Terhune book. Terhune. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. And Diana Thorne did these illustrations. And they're just really, really cute. Let me just find a good one here. Some of them are full page like this, and then some of them have 2 illustrations on each page like this. So just really good books. Love them. And then my last Diana Thorne book is the Diana Thorne's dog books. And look at this cover. I love this cover. I thought I had it taken off so that you could see it quicker. And this is a spiral bound book, and there are all dog illustrations in this. It's called Dogs, an Album of Drawings. And look at these. So these would be great if you wanted to print them, or I mean, take them out of the book and use them as prints. They're really, really good. Okay, a couple more dog books yet, because it was, you know, a dog week. Beautiful Joe and Silver Chief, the Dog of the North. These were part of the famous dog stories published by Grosset and Dunlap. You might be familiar, they also did a series of horse books as well, and I've carried those books in the website on the website before, but these are just 2. They always have matching spines. So more dog books. This one isn't quite a dog book, but it is an animal book, and it has a dog on the front, so of course I'm going to include it. It's called Animal Stories, and it's just filled with little poems, short stories, really, really great for your really young readers. But I thought the illustrations were really, really cute. And there is a dog story in here. But look at the detail in this. I mean, you could play with your kids. You could just find the animals in here and name animals. And it's just a great book. Oh, I lied. I have 2 more. These I listed as a set. This is The Mystery Dogs of Glen Hazard and Follow My Leader. So they're just 2 children's books that are early chapter books, I would say, is the age level for these. These were book club member books. All right, we're done with the dog books. Now, I ordered or added these Grimm's Fairy Tales and Andersen's Fairy Tales. And they were, they're in the book sleeve. So I added those. I added Peterkin by Gabriel Jackson. This was illustrated by Maxfield Parrish. Maxfield Parrish was a very popular artist back in the early 1920s, 1930s. And he also illustrated children's books as well as did paintings. So this is just this little storybook. It's nice. Big rating, but it was illustrated by Maxfield Parrish. So Maxfield Parrish collectors, oftentimes you'll find that book in their collections. Now, since it's soon getting back to school time, I'm focusing filling the shop with books for school, whether they're old vintage school books, history books for children. These ones that I'm going to show you in a second are living history books or living books. I'm going to I have a lot of classics that I'm going to be adding in for, you know, just basically a lot of books to focus on reading with your children during the school year and kind of supplementing that, you know, the reading that they're doing. These are going to be great books for doing bedtime reading, read alouds, things like that. But these are history books. This is from the Signature Series, history books that were published in the 1950s and 1960s. And this one is the story of Mozart, the story of General Custer, and the story of Marco Polo. And what I love about these books is they're written in the first person. So this is written as if Custer was actually telling you his life story. And they're larger print, so they're easy reading. They're adventure stories. They make learning history really, really fun. So those four are in that set, and I'm selling those as a set. And then I have these four, and these are Amelia Earhart, Theodore Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln, and Buffalo Bill. So you can see the difference. This one still has its dust jacket, which sometimes I find them, sometimes I don't, but if I find them, I always include them because I love dust jackets. Next, I have two more book sets to show you. Next up, I have this pair of Alice in Wonderland, The Adventures of Alice in Wonderland, and Through the Looking Glass and What Alice Found There. These were special editions published by Random House. They originally came in a sleeve. These ones I did not find with the sleeve, but they are in excellent condition. Let me show you the covers. And I added those to the website. And all of the illustrations are by John Tenniel, who was the original illustrator of the Alice in Wonderland books. So, and they're all done in color. Try to get this another picture for you. They are gorgeous. And last but not least, I added these 3 Rudyard Kipling books. Now these are, I would classify these as classics and not particularly children's books, but The Day's Work, Sulky and Company, and I'm not even going to attempt the Nala Lanka, A Story of East and West. And if you're familiar with Robert Kipling, you'll know that he lived in India, and he wrote a lot of books about life in India. I don't know why I want to call it Italy, but India. So they're really good books. If you are familiar with John Sr., he was a professor in the United States. I don't remember which university he taught at, but he, before he died, came up with a list called 1,000 Good Books. If you're a homeschooling parent, this list is probably familiar to you. You've probably heard it before. But Stokey and Company is one of those books on his recommended reading list, as well as some other Kipling books. So just a little tidbit of information. If you are looking for books that are recommended from outside people or books on homeschooling list, I am working on compiling books in my website that are Charlotte Mason books that are recommended books. If you've read the book Honey for a Child's Heart, some of those books. And then the BBC did a list of the 100 greatest children's books, and they interviewed, I forget how many people they interviewed, but they compiled a list from talking to experts in the children's literature field, and came up with their 100 books. So I have those books, or those lists, and I'm always using them to make my decisions on what books I'm bringing into the website, because if they're recommended books, and most of them are classics, they've stood the test of time. They are good quality books that you want on your bookshelf, books that you loved as a child, and ones that you are going to want your children and grandchildren to read. So I really try and focus on really good quality books, and not so much the everyday books, or just a vintage book just because it's a vintage book. So you're going to see more and more of that from me as we move forward. So if you have any questions, don't forget that all of these books that I list during the week are in the new arrivals collection right on the main menu of the website. So you can always check there. And any of the dog books that you are looking for are on the website right on. If you scroll down a little bit down the website, there is a special collection, and I change that up throughout the year. And this time right now it's still on dogs, and I'll be switching it up soon, but for now the dog books are still all featured there, so you can see all the dog books that are listed and currently available on the site. So I hope you guys had a great week. I am going to get back to listing some more books. I have to run to the post office and drop off some orders, but you'll find me in my office listing books. If you have any questions or if you're looking for any particular books, please let me know. I'm always happy to keep an eye out for books, and I may just have them in my inventory because I do have a large inventory right now that I'm working on listing. So thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you girls next week. Bye.